it's really interesting because I'm like, I've done 600 other voice acting jobs, but I'm known for those.
Madison Brunoehler, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you. So, what got you into voice acting? Because when I researched you, you initially started doing impressions on YouTube on your channel Maddie to the Max.
Yes, that's correct. Interestingly, the YouTube channel actually led to my voice acting. So I had originally started my YouTube channel as a way to showcase my character acting and all these different funky characters that I could do. All of them talking to each other. Didn't do very well, but I did the character acting very well. It just never took off on YouTube. So one day I was like, I don't know what to do for a video this week. So here, let me do just some impressions that I can do. And this is like everything from like the Daleks from Doctor Who to the Disney princesses to Scuttle from Little Mermaid. And that video actually did really well. And a voice acting friend of mine saw the video and was like, "Ooh, this is great." And he sent it to the casting director for a film he had just been cast in. And the casting director said, "She has range. Let's have her audition." And I booked two characters in that movie. And that was like the best thing. The very first time I was ever in the sound booth, I was like, yes, I am home now. This is where I belong.
Would you say the way you describe it when you said, "This is my home now," it almost sounds like you're describing it as if you were lost until you found this voice booth. Is that a good analogy or?
I never thought of it that way. I mean, I'd always known that I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to perform. I was always putting on silly costumes and doing sketches for my family. Like, I knew that that was always something that I'm inherently a performer. I'm an artist. That's what I do. And just knowing that that's what I wanted, but the industry itself for like on screen acting was not working for me. It was not gelling. And then when I was able to actually get in the booth, it was able to be like, here's the piece I was missing. It doesn't matter what I look like. It's all about the acting. It's all about the voices that I can do. And it just honed it down to the skill I'm actually really good at. And that was like, yes, this is my career now.
Did your voice acting take off after you starred in Smosh's older videos with Anthony Padilla and Ian Heacox? Or did that count? Did the acting for that come about beforehand? Because I'm just trying to gauge a good
I
timeline of.
think
Go on.
I think I did Smosh before I did voice acting. So I wasn't with Smosh very long. It was maybe a month. And that was something where it was like that was when I was still doing like the character sketches and I could do these silly goofy characters. And that was something that Smosh was looking for and it ended up just not being the right fit. And then maybe a year later, probably less, I think I really found voice acting and then went full tilt into that.
Okay, so how was that full tilt into voice acting?
I mean, it's the best thing ever because, like I said, it's the character acting without having to look like the character. It's fully being able to just sound like all these different people and fully immerse myself in that. And it's all about the acting. It's all about the voiceover, and it's less about the lighting and the camera angles and like what you're wearing and all this other stuff that honestly I think sometimes distracts from it because it's hard to have this deep emotional scene when you have a lighting and then you got the camera guy standing away from you and then you got the boom guy holding a thing and you're wearing clothes that you're not comfortable in and then a sound alarm starts going in the background and you have to like, oh wait, hold on, I know this is an emotional scene, but we're gonna stop and let this ambulance go by. So it really just, I feel like it takes away all of the unnecessary things from acting, and it just really just hones it down to the fine skills of
I
it.
suppose in your case as well as with you being a voice actor is if the show, game, or whatever you're voicing it or acting in doesn't do well, it's very hard to put a name to a face. Because I remember as you were saying that, I couldn't help but thinking of Daisy Ridley. I hope I got her
Hmm.
name. Yeah, when she played Rey in the new Star Wars trilogy, and the first one did well, but the last two didn't, and everyone kind of had to go at her because they couldn't
Yeah.
put name to face. But in your case, it's very hard because I remember when Teen Titans Go came out and it was, well, I never watched it, but I knew the reviews were crap. But no one could really go, oh, that is the actor for Robin. It was no Robin, the character mess up. So I guess in a way, it gives you that level of protection.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember Nancy Cartwright once told this story about how, she's Nancy Cartwright, and in certain circles, people know who Nancy Cartwright is, voice of Bart Simpson, yes, but she can still go to the grocery store. Paparazzi don't hound her. Nobody knows who she is unless she goes, "Hey guys, let me do the Bart Simpson voice for you," and then people are like, "Oh my God, wow." So it is this level of anonymity that unless you're like the Matt Mercers or the Laura Baileys of the world, people don't recognize you walking down the street, which is great when it's like, well, that project pissed a lot of people off. Well, thank goodness they're not coming after me. It's also, there is this kind of reverse side to it where it's like, this project did really, really well. No one knows I'm in it. Like I did a bunch of characters for the Dislight mobile game, and nobody knows that I'm in it. And I have to be like, guys, I'm in this. I'm over here. People really like this, but like you don't know I'm there. Okay.
Clash of Clans, Five Nights at Freddy's. We could, yeah.
Yep.
What's it like to voice characters in major franchises? So for you, you voiced Archer for Clash of Clans, Happy
Mhm.
Frog for Five Nights at Freddy's, and I can't believe I forgot this because I looked up yesterday. But there was Rosaline or Rosalind.
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 Rosalind. Uh,
Yeah,
Rosalind. Like I voiced so many characters in AFK.
yeah, but that's my point. Like AFK Arena, I know that's quite
Mhm.
popular. What's it like to actually voice major characters, in your opinion? Because I've had Safioti on, and she voiced Aramis from Destiny and Black Widow in one of the Spider-Man games. But I want to know what's your personal. I asked her the same question, but I want to know what's your personal take on that, where you've voiced major roles.
God, it varies from role to role because that's like I'm known for like these three characters I did. Like I'm known for Archer, I'm known for Happy Frog, I'm sometimes known for Michelle in Farlight. And it's really interesting because I'm like, I've done 600 other voice acting jobs, but I'm known for those three. And so it's really like I love it at times because it's like, yep, here are these three. You know me from these three. And at other times, it's like, I really love that teeny tiny little indie project that nobody saw. I did a great performance there. I love that character and nobody saw it. But so it's really interesting the things that I'm known for versus the things that I do is the things that have entered like the general zeitgeist of like, I'm known for Five Nights at Freddy's. And people go, oh my gosh, yes, we know that. But the other things, I used to have a banner that had like all of my characters on it from everything. And people would be like, I know the Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm sorry, I don't recognize the other. Like they need to apologize for that, but they don't. But it is just interesting because I could then, because I put so much on the banner, I could then really get a view of like, what do people know? And it was those three characters. So it's really interesting when you have so many of those that it's just like it just gets narrowed down to what is pop culture and what do people recognize from that.
Would you say that sort of typecasts you? So what I mean by that is because people only know you for those three characters, it kind of, I don't want to say limits, but it kind of puts you in this camp of what you can do because I'll just pick Archer. You voiced Archer, and we've got this. Say I'm a voice, a casting director. I'm looking for someone who got a character similar to Archer. Would you say that? And I approach you because of that. Would you say that? I don't know how to word this. Would you say that kind of attracts a certain like type of people because they want you to replicate what you're best known for?
Not usually, because I'm best known for Happy Frog and Archer. They sound vastly different from each other. So right off the bat, when they're like, "Oh, we know both of those voices," and I didn't know they were voiced by the same person, that does kind of give me a little bit of a like, "Oh, there's a difference here." And then they talk to me and they're like, "You don't sound like either of these, but you voiced them. Wow, how did you do that?" So I do have that kind of built-in, I don't want to say cushion, but like I do have that built-in range gauge, I guess. Um, so I've never had anybody be like, we're looking exactly for the Archer voice that you do, just do it again. What I'm more likely to get is I'll get casting breakdowns that they're like, we're looking for an Aubrey Plaza type voice, or we're looking for a creepy doll type voice. Those were the breakdowns that I got for both Happy Frog and Archer. And I was like, oh, I already have those in my repertoire from doing the impressions I did on my YouTube channel. Because I had that range built in, I knew exactly how to pull those voices out to then duplicate what the casting was looking for. So I haven't felt constricted by that. It's the industry in general that is struggling at the moment with all the strikes that have been happening that I've found to be the most problem at the moment.
I was going to avoid talking about the strikes as I've talked about this conversation a few times with some others. But yeah, I
Yeah,
get why, because AI and yeah, let's take everyone's job type of argument. I seen the clip earlier from the guy. Do you know who Gary V is?
sounds familiar. I
Yeah,
probably recognize his face.
yeah, he's massive in the online entrepreneur space. He said on a podcast, our grandkids are going to marry AI, and I'm thinking like, I was just I couldn't help but think to myself with the AI thing. I don't think personally it's going to take off the way people are predicting because you've not got the human connection. I mean, it can replicate, but
I mean, for people that I suppose don't get a lot of human connection, they're going to feel like, hey, I really feel connected to this AI. This AI gets me because they don't really interact with other people all that much. But for people that do interact with other people, which is a larger majority of people, they are going to be like, uncanny valley. This doesn't feel human. What is something is wrong here? I don't like this. Which I think is going to then hopefully elevate it to be like we now appreciate human voices much better. But with the way that a lot of companies are going right now, they have a tendency to be like, let me do the cheap option rather than the quality option. Because that's where we can cut corners because everybody's cutting corners right now. So hopefully regulation gets put in place where it actually protects voice actors soon, but it's not happening fast enough.
yeah, and I think that a worry voice acting is going to become very popular in the indie market.
I feel like indie actually has a lot more respect for human. Rather, it's the corporations that I've seen going, oh, we're just going to scrape your voice and just use that to fill in the gaps. Or like Duolingo, that's like, no, we're going fully AI now and we're not hiring our independent contractors anymore. It's the big corporations that are going to be trying to cut corners. Whereas indie, for a really long time, has been like, no, we want to hire local. We want to give our friends work. We're trying to make our own stories. I feel like indie's going to do a lot more. It's the shady internet people that are like, I want to get this person to say something really weird for $5. That's where it's going to get kind of iffy.
Do you get those often where they go, "Can you do that? Say this for $10?" Like,
Not me personally. I know several voice actors that are on Fiverr who would do things, and it's like, yeah, no, I don't do Fiverr. I had someone once come to me that they were like, oh, I want to get you to do this voice acting thing, and I was like, here are my rates, and they're like, I could get it cheaper on Fiverr, and I wrote back, then go to Fiverr. I am. No, that's not what I do.
Fiverr's handy if you need something quick, but I would, and I've used it a little for this podcast, but I wouldn't really rely on it
Yeah.
personally. Because I always find it to be part in my personal experience when it comes to, well, just any like freelance stuff, is you hire them, they do a really good job, to be fair, but then you've not got a reason to go back to them.
Yeah.
You said earlier that you've got about, what, 600 roles where you're not well recognized for. Out of all of those, which ones did you wish would have done really well? Because I can think of a few.
Oh, I got at least two, but the one that first comes to mind was I was in a pilot for an animated series called The Explorers Academy, which was for National Geographic's kids, and I loved it so much. It was so much fun to voice this character, and it was like it felt like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but more science-y, and I wanted it to take off so badly. But the story that happened was that it did get picked up for series, but that was right when Disney bought Fox. So they scrapped all of the kids' animation department. So it never got more than a pilot. And that hurts me that it never got further than that because I loved it. Oh, it was great. And the other one that I really liked, which did get some attention, was I was in a audio drama for The Great Wizarding War, which was a Harry Potter prequel series. It was fan made. And it was just so well done. I got to voice Narcissa Malfoy, and we actually got to record with everybody in the same room, and we were feeding off of each other's energy. It was by Broad Strokes Entertainment, and it was just the best. I think about that and go, man, I wish I could do another one like that. That would be great.
Do you think that you'll get that opportunity?
I hope so. I mean, in the future, sure, you never quite know, but like
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah, right now everything's kind of up in the air. I mean, I'm finding out with this podcast. I think the advantage I've got is I got real people on. What has been some of your weirdest interaction with fans? Because I know you go to conventions and you meet the fans, and sometimes you posted photos of them in cosplay for quite a few from Five Nights at Freddy's. But what have been some of your weirder interactions? Because you hear the horror stories of, oh, there was one, I think it's Anaconda, or I hope I got that name right, where she had a stalker and it was from one of her fans. Have you had something like that or something similar?
For the most part, my fans have been really good. Like I haven't had any, I don't deny that those sorts of things do happen. But for me personally, I know that a large part of my audience is people with the tweens or people that have autism. I'm aware that that is part of the fan base for Five Nights at Freddy's. So a lot of the interactions I have is people that have a hard time communicating or that they are very painfully shy. And I'm aware of that. And I go into that knowing that these interactions can sometimes feel kind of stilted, but I'm aware that it's not them trying to be weird, quote unquote. It's just part of who they are, and I'm okay with that. One of the coolest interactions I had, because I do get a lot of actually really fantastic interactions, is there was someone that came up to my booth completely deaf, and I didn't know sign language, so I didn't have a way to communicate with him, but he was able through facial expressions and hand gestures to ask, you voice these characters, you voice all of them, that's amazing. And I was able to then communicate, yes, this is me, thank you so much. And it was a small interaction, but I remember it because it was like, oh yeah, you don't need words to communicate, you just need intention. And I so distinctly remember that because I was like, that was really cool. That was a really awesome interaction, I enjoyed that.
I suppose the advantage you've got with that is it could be worse. You could have a fan base that's quite rabid. I know Ruby's fan base has a bit of a reputation for that, and
Mhm.
let's say you were famous for voicing one of those characters. I mean,
I have a friend that's in the Has Been Hotel or Hell of a Boss, sorry. Yeah, so when they go to a convention, their line just like wraps around the block and it's nonstop for them, which I'm like, that's amazing, that's the goal. But also that fan base can be full of the most creative and sometimes a little scary people. So I know that they've had to, you know, go in knowing that. So I'm aware that those sorts of things do tend to happen. Just luckily, I'm not a child doing this. I'm not a teenager for the first time I got cast in Stranger Things and now, oh my God, my life has blown up. I'm fully an adult who grew up in the convention space. I started going to conventions when I was 14. So I'm well aware of what kind of people you get at conventions. So it did not surprise me when that's the kind of people that would come over and talk to me.
you just made me kind of self-reflect a bit. I thought, oh, actually, that's kind of the advantage I've got at the moment as well, because I started this podcast when I was 24, 25 now. But
Hmm.
then saying that, imagine if I started to do it when I was 14. And then
Yeah.
I had the same conversations and interviews that I have right now with people I've had on. I just wonder how different my life would have turned up or would end up turning out, because there's a popular theory with people given their circumstance and fame. I mean, we know what happens to child actors, but there's a guy called Chris Williamson. He runs the Modern Wisdom podcast. He's got a theory about what he was referring to Jordan Peterson, because that guy got famous when he was, what, 50, 60?
Hmm.
And his idea was, well, what would happen if you took a guy who's basically gone at least 50 years, not in the public sphere, and then all of a sudden, the later years of his life, arguably his coming up his twilight years, then he's thrusted into the public spotlight.
I mean, most voice actors finally become famous or an overnight sensation 10 years into your career. So you have this kind of look, you're able to look back and be like, oh, this is where I came from, here's where I am now. And you have the differentiation of the thing. So you can ground yourself and know like, that's not normal. this is not a normal situation because you know what is a baseline for normal. I think about the kids from Stranger Things who, like, they grew up incredibly famous. I'm really hoping that they continue to thrive and they have a good support system, but also, like, that had to be really overwhelming. That had to really shape who they are because they didn't have that much of a baseline for what is a normal interaction with an adult 40-something-year-old when I'm 7. Like, that had to change things. So I'm really grateful that I have now kind of hit this stride and starting to become well known later in my life. Yes, I do kind of wish it happened when I was a teenager, but also looking back in hindsight, I'm like, no, it's probably better that I know myself more now than back then.
I would say it makes you more grounded because I couldn't help but think of Miley Cyrus
Mhm.
when back when she played Hannah Montana. We all know how that one ended. I mean, I've not had a happy childhood. I'll just throw that out there now. But I dread to think what would have happened if I got televised. That would have been what.
Oh, I know.
Uh,
And now kids these days who are like, they're growing up on social media and they're putting themselves out there and they're putting out all the stupid things that you say and do as a kid. And they're putting that out online forever. And it's like, why would no, don't do that. You're gonna look back on that and hate that you put that out. It's gonna be there. People are gonna be able to find that.
yeah, I put some stuff up when I was 17. I'm like, oh my word,
Mhm,
and I can't take it down either. It's like, oh my
mhm.
word.
Yep, yep.
I think we've digressed a bit. So when it comes to the types of characters you voice, do you prefer playing as more the good guy, the bad guy, or a certain like job role, let's say? Because I know you
Mm,
recently played Gina Weaver in that, was it the precinct, and she's a crime boss. So do you prefer playing more like a general stereotype, like a hero villain, or more like a specific thing where it's like, oh, Gina Weaver, who's the crime boss, or Archer, who's, well, it says in the title, Archer, or Happy
mhm.
Crime. You get where I'm going with this.
Yeah. I mean, the ones I love playing a good villain, like, well, a bad villain, but you get the idea. I love playing a femme fatale, really, Jessica Rabbit types. Oh my god, those are so much fun to play. I do love playing creepy children. Oh god, they're so much fun. Oh, they're the best, or just like, yeah, I mean, they're so like, "Do you wanna come play with us?" Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. I want more of those. So I do it's oh god, because I do have such a range of I've played all these different ones, but when I see like a casting for you're playing a child that's actually possessed by an evil doll, I'm like, mine, give it to me. Honestly, I find it harder to play just, I'm a good person and I'm just doing good things. And aren't I just the main character? Ha. Like that, I find very hard because I'm like, what voice do I do for normal? I don't know. So it's harder for me to do that. I prefer wacky characters.
Yeah, so you're doing the good girl impression. I don't mean to insult you, but I did personally get a bit bored because I can see why. Because you're like, I'm the goody two shoe, like Emmett from the Lego
Yeah.
movie. I'm like, yeah, but what do I do with that? But I get the, you want to play with my teddy bear by the teapot and the lawnmower. Like, you can really go nuts for that one.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because you, oh, who's that character, the Enchantress, where you showed that demo clip of them tied up to a pole and they don't like the fire. Then she turns the fire on them. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, the Enchantress, yes. Oh, that was so much fun. Oh, that was great. That's what I'm talking about, like, the evil femme fatale. I was like, "Oh, I'm here for it, yes." And then they loved it in the directing, they were like, "Okay, we're so the first half, she's very sweet, she's very innocent, she's very sad." And then she does that turn, and I was like, oh, "Yes, give me an evil turn, please."
the the copyright allowance force choke with the fire. It's like, I was actually quite impressed by that, to be
Thank you, thank
honest.
you.
I was just the entire thing. I was like, oh yeah, okay, so she's evil. Okay. Now she turns the fire on everyone. Okay, she possesses everyone. Ooh, and now she does Darth Vader voice choke with fire. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
ooh, that's an
Yep.
comedian one.
Yeah, I love it.
I think you were saying about the creepy kid thing. Would you say Happy Frog kind of feeds into that? It's like, move along, Freddy Fazbear. It's Happy Frog.
Yeah,
It's like,
100%. I mean, the breakdown that I got for her was like she's a animatronic. She's sweet with a high-pitched voice, but then can turn evil on a dime. And I was like, okay, got it. So it was that take that sweet innocent thing and just put it down lower. And that was it. And I was like, oh, perfect, you got it. It's yours.
how do you come up with the voice styles for your characters? So like you're saying with Happy Frog, it's I'm gonna stab you with this knife. But then not all characters will have that. I would say Archer has more faith. Would you say it's fair to say she's got more of like a broader voice? Or how do you come up with the voices for each of the characters is what I'm asking.
I mean, a lot of it was, like I said, doing the impressions on my YouTube channel. Like Happy Frog was originally based on, I don't know if you know Miraculous Ladybug at all, the TV show. There's a character called Tiki in it, and she sounds like this, and that's what I do. So I did an impression of that character, so I already had that in my repertoire. And then when I got the breakdown, it was like, oh, that high squeaky voice that I just did in that impression video, okay, I'm gonna take that, kind of make it my own thing and do it for Happy Frog. And then I know how to make a character sound evil. So it was taking pieces that I'd already learned from other places and then putting them together to make their own thing. And a lot of it comes from the casting breakdowns when you get it and you see like, hey, here's what they want. And then it's just getting like a Rolodex of all the voices that I already now have in my arsenal of voices I can do. And it's something that I grew over time.
I suppose it's one of those skills which you develop through repetition as well, because I think one of the advantages I think is fair. Okay, me and you do very different things, but you've done voice acting for longer. I've done podcasting for what, over a year? My point is you've had more time to practice your craft than me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's when I tell people like, hey, they want to get into voice acting. I'm like, okay, first thing you got to do, get a microphone and start recording yourself and listen to it back. You got to get comfortable with the sound of your own voice. You got to then start doing voices. You see a commercial online, you're going to go and you're going to record that commercial and listen to it back. You're going to figure out how to control your voice to duplicate the stereotypes that you get in these different genres of commercial, audiobook, internal video, animation, video game. All of them have their own different stereotypes for what kind of voices they tend to want in their projects. So it's doing that and then practicing. And the YouTube channel really helped me practice that and hone it down to a point where I could do that. And it kind of forced me to keep up with it every week. A lot of people don't have that, but it's like, you got to be like, some people start doing that on TikTok where they're just like, here, I'm just practicing these voices. I'm just giving this a whirl here. And that's kind of what gets you really good at it. There's also classes where you can do it, but I find like on your own, practicing just your range works really, really well.
That's an interesting question. Has there been a character that has come and gone in a sense that you wanted to voice, but you didn't get to for whatever reason? So
yeah.
Go on.
Well, I was very close to getting cast for Barbie's Mattel's Barbie. This was like the Barbie Dreamhouse animated series. This was 2019, something like that. And it came very close to me voicing a bunch of kids for that. And at the last minute, the director was like, no, we want real kid actors. And I didn't get to do that. And I was like, oh man, I wanted that so badly. I would have loved that. And I till to this day remember that and be like, I was so close.
So close yet so far.
Yep, that's the industry.
Yeah, I've heard this quite Ruthless. I did from Brett Cooper ages ago where she said, well, she did acting, but she said in another podcast, it was quite common when she did it that, oh, everything's ready to go. Last minute, they go, oh, by the way, you know that scene, right? Well, snip, snip. And then, yeah.
Very unstable. Very unstable. That's kind of why when I do an audition, I will do the audition to the best of my ability. And I will put my all into it and I send it in and then I throw it away. In my head, I do not think about it. I don't want to remember it. I want to it's out of my world. And then if they come back and they're like, you're amazing, we want to cast you, I can be like, great, what did I do? Oh yeah, that was it.
Hey, you got the role for Happy Frog you.
Yeah, basically. Basically.
Here's a different question. Do you prefer doing voice acting for video games, films, TV, because you're voicing characters, or do you prefer commercials? Because I know they have a bit of a reputation for A, not knowing what they want, B, they kind of know what they want in terms of the final product. But is there like a charm to it you like doing over video games, or do you just prefer like voicing characters?
I prefer characters. I love video games animation. That's the best. I will say though, commercials pay better. Oh, commercials pay so much better. So yeah, I do like commercials because it helps pay my rent.
Yeah, 'cause I've heard that's quite a common problem with not just any type of freelance work or creative work. Is I did a BFI film course, which is British film industry, for those who don't know. And one of the mentors there said, yeah, it's great, except the problem is, it's not you got a job and you're getting paid. The issue is, well, where's the next job and where's the money coming? Because I remember, oh, I wish I saved it. But I remember seeing this Instagram post of freelance work and it had it's like a bar chart. Days of the month, 1 month, some cash. Next month, lots of cash. Like 3 months, no cash. The month after that, there's cash, but not nearly as much as the other.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very unstable, and the dream is to basically have Nancy Cartwright's career, where it's like you're one of the main voice actors in a long-running TV series that's now gone into syndication, and it's like that's the goal. I'm not sure any of those series are being made anymore, but like I don't want an Oscar. I want to have Nancy Cartwright's career.
Oh yeah, and the other advantage to that is you got more of a reputation which you can capitalize more on. I mean, that's something Steve Blum's got, because I've seen his IMDb and oh my word, has he got a lot of roles? A lot. Yeah, you see.
Yep.
Yeah, for those who don't know or haven't seen, looked up, I think it'd be fair to say it's a very, very short book. If you was to make it, yeah. Speaking of Nancy Cartwright, you got invited to her house.
I did.
How was that?
Oh, it was lovely. I've been to her house a couple of times for a few events, but it's a beautiful setup. It basically looks like a small farmstead because she's from the Midwest. So it's like, oh, that makes sense. She has chickens and like all this plowing material and all that stuff. And she's also a fantastic artist. She had a little gallery of some of the art that she had made, and it's really beautiful, powerful stuff. And in that Instagram post where you see me standing next to that bust of Bart Simpson, Nancy made that.
Yeah, and all the garden. I found this quite creative. I'll check out Madison's Instagram for this.
Yes,
yeah,
at Madden to the max.
Yeah, because you had that picture of all the Simpson characters in garden tool for me.
Yes, she had those on her wall. I was like, that's so fun. I love that. That's so creative.
Well. It's quite clever as well because you can tell who's Marge, who's Homer, who's Bart, who's even Maggie.
It works so perfectly.
Did she have one for the dog?
I don't think so. No.
Oh,
it was just the family. Yeah.
Well, technically, the dog and the cat are the part. Or actually, does everyone remember their names? I don't.
One of them, Snowball, I think. I'm not sure.
Isn't that the dog?
Yeah, I think that's the. Because it was the Snowball's chance. Right. Yeah. I'm not sure. It's been a while.
So I haven't seen Simpsons in. Oh my word, it's been years. Who would your dream role be if you got to voice whoever you like?
I would love to be in the Mighty Nine animated series, which I don't know if you're familiar with Critical Role. They have another series on Amazon Prime called Legends of Vox Machina, which is a fantastic series, and it's based off their first D&D campaign. And they're going to now be doing their second D&D campaign, which is the Mighty Nine animated series. And I want to be in this series. I love their second campaign so much. I would absolutely adore to voice a character in that. I'll be silly, goofy. I'll be a normal voice. I'll be whatever. I'm just like, yes, that is very much a dream role of mine.
Yeah, I just see that when you said I want to be in this show. I'm like, yeah, I hate to put opinion, your balloon, but I don't know what it is.
I think it's much more popular in America than it is over there. So that would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, I don't even know what's popular over here anymore. Madison Brunoehler, everyone. Where can people find you? Because I know you've got your Maddie to the Max, but is there anywhere else people can find you?
You can find me at Maddie to the Max on Instagram and Twitter. And more popular is my TikTok page. Those Instagram Instagram and TikTok are the ones I am the most active on. So if you want to interact, that would be the place to do it.
Wait, didn't TikTok get banned in America, or?
No, not yet, I guess. I don't know. It's been 3 or 4 times that they've been like, "It's banned." No, it's not. So it's like, it's still there at the moment, so I'm still on it.
So there's more of a smoke screen. It's banned!
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's be real here.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed watching this episode, and if you like voice acting content, then I have Jason DeLine and Sally Safioti either side of me. I'll see you there.